Oh, hello. Welcome to another video. And today we're going to ask the question, the previewed Solar Auxilia battle group for Horus Heresy. Would it make a good kill team? Now, I know what you're asking. This is a really strange question because, first of all, the Solar Auxilia battle group contains, like, 2 tanks and a sentinel. Obviously, I'm assuming that you're going to take your 2 tanks and a sentinel and place them on eBay, give them to your Imperial Guard army, whatever you want to do with those. But there is a reason I'm doing this video, okay? We've been waiting for the Solar Auxilia release for a long time, and I had to squeeze a mention of it in there. It is late. It's not going to release before the end of February. But if you look down there at the schedule, in the middle, in the December, January, February column B for your convenience, you'll see that we're still waiting on Kill Team Nightmare and Warcry Pyre and Flood. Meanwhile, the 40k Dark Angels that aren't supposed to come out until after those things have already been previewed for put on pre-order. 40k privilege again. Anyway, when the Solar Auxilia were previewed originally at LVO, like a lot of people in the Discord, a lot of the talk is like, oh, I love these models, they're really intricate and detailed. There's no way that I'm going to collect however hundreds of them you'd need to play 30k, right? That's insane. But if I could buy like 20 max and then make like a kill team from them, that'd be awesome. They'd look really cool, really smart. So let's have a think about how you might make these models into a kill team. So first of all, we're going to have to consider like what kill team that we would make. And I think there are a lot of options for basically the Imperial Guard, right? So I've gone with Vet Guard as the framing device for this presentation to tell you what you could do. I think you could look at Navy breaches, you could look at the kakin. I will talk a little bit about the kakin as we're going through. You could look even at, the Bloodied are still basically an Imperial Guard archetype, aren't they? Got guys with lasguns primarily, right? So there's a couple of different teams that you could look at. We're going to focus on the Imperial Guard, and the reason I want to focus on the Imperial Guard is it's a 14-man team, and for you guys, you can just assemble the lovely like the whole reason that we'd be doing this hypothetically is because you love these miniatures, you want an excuse to buy them, you don't want to have to play 30k or collect a massive 30k army, you want to do a kill team. The Imperial Guard will allow you to just assemble 4 of them as stock, as unmolested examples of the Solar Auxilia, to have, to paint, to cherish, to put on the shelves, to put on the table. Everybody's going to uncomplicated go, oh yeah, those are your 4 basic troopers, right? I know what they are. So that's those out of the way, but what are we going to do for the other 10 miniatures? Well, I've got some thoughts we're going to go through. Let me know in the comments how you think, how readable these would be as an opponent. How readable would these things be? So we're going to start off with the Sergeant. Now, I've assumed that we're buying that big FOMO box, so we've got both the infantry squad and we've got the command section. So for the Sergeant, I've actually picked out the commander from the command section. Now, technically, it's a Volkite pistol, not a plasma pistol. Like, somebody's already furiously writing in the comments that it's a Volkite pistol. But, like, I don't think anybody's going to be confused by it, because Volkite pistols, I think maybe the AdMech can have Volkite weapons in 40k, but they generally don't exist in 40k, and so saying that's a plasma pistol, especially if you were to just sort of get some paint, right, and you were to paint these coily bits blue, like a glowing blue colour, I think absolutely everybody would be like, yeah, that's a plasma pistol, that's cool. He's already got the power sword, so he's exactly as you'd want him. No worries. There's your Sergeant, and he looks really cool, right? He's got the bald head thing going on, and you're like, isn't he a bit old to be out in the field? But, like, it's just like those episodes in the later season of The X-Files where the boss guy who normally sits in the office had his, like, 4-episode arc of being a badass with a gun. It's just that, right? But in Kill Team, about 4 people know what I'm talking about, but those 4 people appreciate the reference, right? So if you want someone that looks like my dad, but leading a kill team, here you go. Awesome. Really kind of does look like my dad, but anyway. And then you've got your Confidant, right? So I've said this is mid. This is a medium kind of conversion effort here. So the Confidant can have a bolter, or it can have a bolt pistol and a chainsword. So I've gone for the basic squad sergeant as my basis for the conversion. Now we've seen from the really small grainy picture, that's why we've got this little cut out here, that there are going to be options, and for all we know, there's a bolt pistol and a chainsword option, right? It seems unlikely that there's a bolter option. I actually don't know in the meta whether Vet Guard players tend to build this guy with a bolter or with a bolt pistol and a chainsword. Like, I'm not a Vet Guard player. I'd probably want to build him with a bolter. Now, one thing that I will want to say that's really cool, right, when we're going through all of these and looking at potential conversions, look at the hand here, right? It's a gloved hand and a wrist. Now look at the Krieg hand, right? So anytime you've got an open pose like this, you could really easily slice off the hand from the Solar Auxilia and put on the Krieg weapon if that's what you wanted to do. So you could take this sword arm, right, stick that on there, and you could put the chainsword or the bolt pistol on the hands. Now, there's people in the comments going, yeah, but why am I going to buy 2 boxes of things to make one team? What the hell, guy? Like, first of all, you'd be surprised. Lots of people out there quite happily buy 2 or 3 boxes just to make 1 box's worth of models with cool bespoke parts. But even that, if you're in a kill team community, there's probably a lot of Vet Guard players out there that have bought 2 boxes of Vet Guard because they needed 14 bodies, right? And they've got most of a second box of Vet Guard sitting in a drawer, including all of the special weapons and cool bits, right? So if you ask them, they may even sell you their leftovers for, what, half the cost of a box, right? So, or you could look on eBay, like, if what you want is like Vet Guard specialist weapons, there's probably quite a lot of them out there in the world in people's bits boxes, just because of the way Vet Guard are set up, right? All those people that play Vet Guard that have 14 Kriegsmen, the rest of that sprue has got to be somewhere out there, right? So I think Confidant, pretty convertible, okay? Zealot. So here's where we maybe start to go off-piste a little bit. I'm like, why don't you use this banner guy as the Zealot? And you're like, well, that's totally different. Like, he's got a back banner and the Zealot's got his little hymn book thing. If you literally look at the Zealot's ability, it's like an aura that inspires the people around him for a distance of blue in exactly the way that banners do. Like, I just think you could just totally say, yeah, the Zealot's this guy with the banner, and it totally... Like, first of all, you might have to explain it at the start to your opponent, but no one's going to forget that the banner guy does something special. And because the Zealot's actual ability is pretty aura-y, banner-y type stuff, I don't think there's a massive problem here. The Zealot's armed with a regular las rifle, so is this banner guy. So this is the banner guy, by the way, from the basic squad. There's a separate banner guy for the command squad. We're going to talk about him in a little bit. The banner guy for the basic squad, I think, makes a really decent stand-in for the Zealot. No changes needed, no conversions. There we go. Right, medic. The Solar Auxilia plastic sets don't come with a medic, but the good news is you can buy for quite a lot of money from GamesWorkshop.com this lovely resin set, which contains 3 medics and a half-dead guy. Now, so if you wanted to, you could buy this set, and I would be tempted to use this guy in the top left hand here, because he has the chain blade thing that's like reminiscent of the chain blade thing here. Okay, now, yes, the medic for the Vet Guard has the rifle over his shoulder, and this guy doesn't have a rifle. And do you want to try and find a rifle and convert it on there somehow? Maybe, like, but this is the best I could do for medic, right? You know, now, one thing I don't know and don't guarantee is actually how well do these Solar Auxilia, the original resin Solar Auxilia, how do they actually look alongside the new plastic Solar Auxilia? Have Games Workshop done something wild with the scale? I don't know. Your other option would be, again, like I said on the previous slide, just track down some spare Krieg bits and try, or just get because there's 2 ways of building the Krieg medic, right? You just get the little doctor's bag and just stick that on the base of a Solar Auxilia with a las rifle. and he's a medic as well. So that's another option for you, right? Because the original Vet Guard set was weird because there's 2 separate ways to build the medic, and there's a weird medical bag token that doesn't do anything in game. Weird things. I'm sure we all know how Krieg in Kill Team look and work, right? But if not, there is a video way back on this channel about building the Krieg that goes all through the manual. So check that out. Comms is really easy. I could have gone for the Voxcaster in the basic squad, but since I am imagining for this video's purposes that we've got the full FOMO box with the command squad as well, we'll go for the command squad Vox because it's a cooler guy. Yep, it's a Vox, no problem. So, a difficult one I think is the Demolition guy. There's not really anything in the Krieg in the Solar Auxilia set that resembles Demolition. What I'll probably do is I would try and find a mine-looking bit. Now I've shown the one here from the Kazakin, the Kill Team Kazakin sprue. Obviously, if you want to play at Warhammer World or similar Warhammer venues in other territories, then it would have to be a Games Workshop bit. If you're just playing at your friendly little gaming store, you could just get a 3D printed little bit. And I would literally just be looking at going, like, clip the grenade off one of these troopers, and just glue, like, the big explosive mine to the top of his thigh there, right? And then that's your demo guy. Maybe it's not the best, but then, this isn't the... What makes it clear isn't anything demo-y. What makes it clear is that, oh yeah, the demo guy's the one that's kind of doing a squat and looks like he's using the latrine there, So maybe it's a little bit less legible than it needs to be, but you could always do a classic Games Workshop. Put the mine part on the side and then paint the mine in hazard stripes. And then no one's going to have, if you just paint it as a metal, like if you just glue that colour onto that colour so it becomes just a wall of metal, that might not look so good. But if we did this in hazard stripes or something, yeah, I think everyone's going to see there's your demo guy with his huge hazard stripe bomb thing on his side. That's probably fine. Bruiser. So the Bruiser, I've said mid. So one thought I had with the Bruiser is tough and is a combat guy. And so, historically, in the times when, like in the Victorian era, when the British Army actually carried the colours into battle, right? Like, which is what large parts of 40k are still drawing on, right? Like, the guy that carried the colours would be the sort of strong and tough and no-nonsense guy, because the most important thing is to make sure that your banner isn't like captured by the enemy. So I think a good way of signifying the Bruiser, the roughly toughy type, is that he's the guy with the banner, right? And he's got a close combat weapon. Now that's a power sword, so you could just file off the power leads off the sides of the sword and say, hey, it's just a cutlass, so it's the same profile as the club. Or like I said before, if you managed to source some spare little Krieg bits, you could just put that club hand, cut at the wrist, cut the power sword off at the wrist, and give him a club to wave. Now, the only little sticking point again here is technically, of course, the Bruiser does have a las rifle. The banner guy doesn't have a las rifle. Could you get one and stick it somewhere onto his back? I don't know. Your mileage may vary there, but those are my thoughts on a Bruiser. I think this kill team would look really cool, as I've sort of outlined it. Hardened veteran. So you're going to go, Phil, you've just shown us a basic trooper. No, I haven't, in fact, shown you a basic trooper. So this is the basic guy that comes in the command squad box, and he's got some piping, right? And he's got a big laurel thing here, and he's got some piping around his mouth. Like, compare him to the regular guy, right? And you can actually see there's a fair old visual difference. Now, I know you're going to say, Phil, that's a reach, but like, the main thing making this hardened fellow stand out from the rest of his guys are these 3 medals. Yeah, I know he's got a bionic hand, right, which is actually referenced in the rules, but I actually think this is more of a subtle detail that's kind of quite easily missed. I think the main thing he's got going for him are these 3 medals. I think this guy is at least as distinct from the basic guy as this guy is distinct from the basic las rifle Kriegsman, right? That's just my feeling on the issue. So I think it works. If you want to tell me I'm wrong and you'd find that confusing to play against, do let me know in the comments. Spotter, really easy. So the command squad box again comes with this Auspexy looking lad with his like targeting reticule, and he's even doing himself a point, which is great. And he's got his las rifle thing slung over his shoulder. Perfect. Couldn't be better. Now, it's worth saying at this point, I did think about kakin. If you wanted to do these as kakin, this could, of course, be your Auspex guy. Your sergeant, same kind of idea applies. Basic trooper, same kind of idea applies. Demo, you'd have to convert in the same way. Medic, you'd be in the same issue of having to possibly buy that resin miniature. Comms is absolutely fine, right? And yeah, so it all works, except for, what have I not mentioned for both teams? What are both teams absolutely famous for, right? Both Vet Guard and kakin that we've not talked about. And this is where, and I'm really sorry for anyone that's been sitting there watching this video going, actually, I'm gonna pick this box up and do a kill team. My advice is actually to not, because even though it's all been pretty positive so far, and you've been on the same journey that I've been on in terms of, oh, this could be, you could do that, I'm sure you could fiddle that in. The problem is the gunners. Now, you may, like I was initially thinking, go, oh, well, I've got plasma gun, melter gun, flamer. I've got all this stuff knocking around in bits boxes, or I can buy it online and things like that. And there's not really a problem. But there is a problem, right? Because back in the day, Games Workshop used to make it quite easy for you to convert things, because weapons, especially for, they'd look like this. The hand would be down here. You could cut that off, and there'd be like a little hand doing that on the other side that you just rest this into, right? So it was really easy to swap guns and stuff around, and so you could buy packs of guns like this. It's a plasma gun pack for old Space Marines. Just look at how these are sculpted, right? Look at how the fingers on the hand that's cupping the las rifle are artfully like spread. Right, so I've not seen the sprues for these, but I'm pretty prepared to guarantee that I'm pretty prepared to guarantee, right, that this hand is molded onto the gun, right? And it doesn't stop there. If you look at the sort of flintlock grip thing that's going on here, oh no, not that button. If you look at the sort of flintlock grip thing that's going on down here, right? I'm pretty sure a lot of that stock is molded into that arm. The hand's molded onto the stock, right? There's not going to be an easy way of swapping that out and salvaging that arm, right? If you want to put a new gun onto a Solar Auxilia like this, I think you need 2 new arms. So, unless Games Workshop, and they might, right, if they release a resin upgrade kit for the Solar Auxilia to give them access to plasma guns, flamers, melter guns, then you might be able to do a Vet Guard Solar Auxilia kill team. I think it's probably going to run you to a fair bit of money, but if you're doing this kind of thing, you're not trying to do things. If you want to do it the cheapest way possible, you just buy the goddamn Krieg. Like, I'm always like really suspicious of people that have done converted teams, and the converted team works out much, much cheaper than the stock team. And you look at it and it's like, have you just done this to, you don't actually care, you just glued some old bits of Space Marine onto some army men from Poundland because you wanted to on the cheap. There's nothing wrong with that, but then people never admit that's what they've done. They always say, oh no, this is my single artistic vision. And it's like, well, anyway. I think that unless they release an actual Solar Auxilia weapons kit, which they may or may not do, I don't think you can do this team, unfortunately. Like, you can, because I've gone through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you definitely could make a Vet Guard team out of Solar Auxilia that will look really cool and be tabletop legal, but it wouldn't include any gunners. Now, again, I don't claim to be the best at kill team, but I'm fairly sure right, it's pretty common if you're playing Vet Guard to take gunners. I think that's commonly accepted wisdom. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong there. So I really think you'll struggle to convert the gunners in a meaningful way. Ironically, if they did come up with the melter, the plasma, right, grenade launcher type things for the Solar Auxilia, and you were still just trying to do a sniper, I think a sniper wouldn't be that hard to do. Yeah, just because you could, at least hypothetically, right, you could just elongate this. Oh gosh, why do I keep doing that? Just elongate this barrel section, right? Just take something here, right? Clip that out and replace it with just a longer piece of brass rod. Maybe don't use one of the ones with the picture I've used here. They all have bayonets, but you can actually, if we go back a little bit to the very first slide with models on, like this guy doesn't have a bayonet, right? So you can, and this guy doesn't have a bayonet, right? Over on this side, these two guys over here don't have bayonets. So you can find, so you could take this one, you could extend the barrel, you could make a sniper rifle that way. I think that would work. But I think you need official conversion parts to get good-looking plasmas and melters and grenade launchers, unfortunately. So I don't think, and the same is true with Kazakin. I think you can get almost all the way there with Kazakin, but again, without your gunners, and it's like nobody's playing Kazakin without gunners. I think gunners are the real sticking point. So yeah, I can't see a really easy way to salvage those arms. Of course, if you don't play in Games Workshop menus, I'm pretty sure someone will come out there and do 3D prints, right? Where you get the plastic Solar Auxilia and you just glue on the 3D printed arms with the plasma gun in. Things like that will probably appear, right, for 30k, and then that would be ideal, because instead of buying a box, because if they make a box, you have to have a box of 10 plasma guns to get you one plasma gun, and a box of 10 melter guns to get you one melter gun potentially. And if it were 3D printed, you just print one, right, and stick it on. But I think that's where I'm leaving the video. I think it was a really upbeat video, but having really thought about it and put this together for you, in answer to the people on my Discord that are like, oh yeah, I'll definitely buy some of these, I can see an easy way to run them in Kill Team. I can't see an easy way to run them in Kill Team. That's my verdict. Sorry to be negative. I think they're so close and almost there in so many ways, because the Kill Team archetypes are so strongly repeated across 40k and 30k as well. But what do you think? Can you think of a way to make it work? Like, if somebody wanted to do Vet Guard, but with the Solar Auxilia models, because they really like them, like, could you think of a way to make that work? Let me know in the comments. If you're picking up the Solar Auxilia battle group anyway, because maybe you play 30k and you did hype for it, like, let me know in the comments. Love to see other people being happy. Big thank you to all my members. So those are the people that pay money every single month to me to make these videos happen, which is, it's one of those things where a couple of weeks ago I had a little wobble. And honestly, if it wasn't for people who are being when all YouTubers have all like wobbles of different levels of severity now and again, where they're like, oh, I really don't feel like making a video this week. Or I missed last week's, and is this the time to back it in? And actually, the fact there are people just paying you every month, and you get over that little hump, and like, because you make one out of obligation, and then you're like, actually, I'm enjoying myself again now, probably. And so, yeah, having people just constantly on membership there, showing that level of faith, really important. So do consider it if it's something that you can afford. But obviously, cost of living, everything else, don't choose between, well, I can give money to this random guy on YouTube, or I can have beans on my toast instead of hoops, So don't, please, if you can afford it, that would be a good thing. Even if you've got no money, though, you can subscribe. And honestly, for me, from where I am right now, trying to get noticed, imagine if Games Workshop had sent me, right, in an alternate universe, imagine if Games Workshop had sent me this box to review, and I'd actually sat and tried to kit bash it with Vet Guard and had something to actually show you rather than like the contents of my mind and trying to visualize these things. Like, that'd be a cool video, wouldn't it? And that's the kind of content that I'd love to do, but that involves growing the channel to a point where the marketing people at Games Workshop notice it and go, oh, if we send this guy a free Solar Auxilia battle group, we might get like 10 more kill team players to buy one to make a kill team, because that's what he did. That's how this works. That's how I'd like this to work. Unfortunately, that's not how this works at the moment. So do consider that as well. That would really help me out. All right, guys. Hope you had a really good evening. And I'll see you again with the next video coming on Tuesday. Live stream Wednesday, because that's the new schedule. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Cheery bye. Goodbye. Bye-bye-bye. Goodbye. Bye-bye. Bye.